evening. Del Stone, I'm a Greensboro resident and community organizer with WOA. The city of Greensboro is functionally run by a gang which is not publicly accountable, which is dependent on taxpayer money, and which is highly influential on all of this council's decisions. The gang is called Downtown Greensboro Incorporated, DGI. DGI's stated goal is to, quote, promote and stimulate investment, interest, and economic development in the center city area of Greensboro. That is, to make our downtown a shiny amusement park for wealthy investors and tourists, not to make the city livable and affordable for its residents. If that was a priority, you would see city funding being spent differently. What does it say that the average of $1 million in government funding goes to DGI every single year? What does it say that the CEO of DGI makes over $100,000 a year, over $170,000 according to the last filing report? City pays because it's in city councilors' interest to keep our political donors happy in order to keep themselves comfortable and in power. Another element of this is that DGI is so deeply entangled within its own city council chamber that it's hard to separate the two. Mayor Vaughn and the former city manager are both in the board executive committee of DGI. The president and CEO of DGI, Zach Matheny, is a former member of this council. He actually got the job as CEO in 2015 because another councilman pressed the DGI's board to hire him. He's currently running to get a seat back on the city council. And it's not controversial to say that it is a conflict of interest for the CEO of a city-funded nonprofit to be on the council that runs city government. The city attorney even said so. And yet current council members like Yvonne Johnson are already having these conflicts of interest, and they seem on board with that. They're on board with Matheny's goals. Matheny said in a recent interview that he wants Greensboro to be the next Charlotte. For the average Greensboro resident, that basically means gentrification, forcing poor residents out for the sake of the wealthy. But DGI doesn't care about making the city affordable, accessible, and livable. They want downtown to be a corporate playground and to attract tourists, as Greensboro seems to be defining its own brand to be. The influence that DGI has in council decisions about how to spend public money and where to focus public projects is clear. As far as economic decision-making goes, DGI runs this town. City council is a cover for the interests of the wealthy in the city. It's a shell group for the real gang that runs Greensboro, a very small group of very wealthy, very elite, and powerful developers. Instead of funneling millions of dollars into these projects that are funded by DGI, City Council could choose to support programs that directly help residents. That's a strategy so basic that one has to think the only reason that Council doesn't do this is because serving the majority of people is not Council's goal. City Council should represent the majority of people in the city, the residents who are those who are supposed to elect them, but we really should recognize that City Council is in fact invested in maintaining power and influence by listening to those who do have power and influence.